I started out working night reception at Psalm Studios, Trevor Horn's place, and then kind of got in on a few sessions assisting and did all that, and then floated about the industry working for different people. So kind of like T-boy level stuff. It was quite hard actually. It was quite like a kind of like, wow, this is serious. And I remember like first sessions with like real producers that had flown over from the States to come and work with certain artists, and you're all of a sudden chucked in there at the deep end and have to make things work and make things run smoothly. I think after I left Psalm, I got invited to work on the second Mumford & Sons record with a guy called Rory Cushnan, who I assisted for a while. And that was the first time I was like, oh, okay, this is like bigger stakes now, because they just had their first record that was like a big success, and this is like the second one, so there's kind of a bit of pressure, and yeah, it was exciting. It was good. I like that. Last year, I did a little bit of work on Dua Lipa's new record that was going to come out pretty soon, I think. And it's just nice to like see a proper pop artist on that level and how she operates. I was only in there for a few days, but she is like the real deal. She's got a very clear idea of what she wants, kind of like artistically, musically, and visually, and how it all ties together. And that was quite good fun. Yeah. Try and adapt to where they're at and what they want, and try and gauge, where they're coming from, and work around their vision for the record, I think, is what I try and do. And because obviously, like, someone that's been at it making records for years is going to be completely different from a brand new band that just walks in all green and, you know, never done or been through the process before. So you have to kind of help nurture those artists, and then the other artists you need to just kind of get on board and just push it and make it as good as you can. So yeah, it's really it's different for every type of artist. Yeah. Like, who are my like favourite people? What kind of stuff do I love? I'm a massive fan of Danger Mouse, all the stuff he's done. And there's he made a great record called Rome, which we took a lot of influence for this Jack Savoretti record that we worked on. Which both Jack's record and the Rome record by Danger Mouse were done in Ennio Morricone's studio in Rome. So that was a good experience because I loved that record, and I was able to we were able to bring parts of that sound into Jack's record. I listened to lots of stuff. I think Rick Rubin and his approach to making records is a massive influence. Just the way he thinks about records, more so than how they actually sound. Tony Visconti, love his work, always have. I have like a Big Trees pedal, which is made by a company called Audio Kitchen, which I've pretty much put on every record I've made since I bought it. It's just the kind of make better button. Which makes all bass and guitar sound awesome. I like to carry around a collection of really crappy microphones, because I think often you go into big posh studios and everything sounds very nice and neat. I think having kind of rubbish little harmonica microphones or like old crusty broadcast microphones just gives the record a bit of edge and something a bit different. So last year we went up to the Chapel in Lincolnshire to make Frank Carr and the Rattlesnakes record, and they have got some amazing gear. They've got a lovely AMAC desk, but they also had this kind of rack of Neve preamps, which all the drums went through, and it was kind of like a core of that sound. So it's just like using as much of that as possible, just to add that like body and weight to the sound. And it's an amazing room up there actually. I think what the MPG does behind the scenes in terms of like supporting young producers their kind of push for diversity in the workplace, and like even stuff with helping out with contracts and kind of legal issues, and like the kind of way that it acts a bit like a union, I think is really important. And you know, the awards are just a nice celebration of good music at the end of the day. It's kind of quite an honour because it's voted on by your peers and all that. And also seeing the list was surprising because, you know, you've got people like Nigel Godrich up there, and I know Stephen Street's getting a special award, and these are like my heroes. So it's pretty mind-blowing to even be mentioned next to those guys. I think last year there was a few records that happened to come out that were I was quite proud of. So there's Jack Savaretti's record and Shura's Forever record, which that's kind of one of my favourites, and Frank Carr and the Rattlesnakes as well we mentioned. And I quite like it because they're all quite broad and they're across many different genres, and I think that also represents the music that I listen to. I think if I was stuck in a basement just making rock records till the end of days, I would be very bored. So it's nice to have like, I feel quite privileged to be able to work across many different genres. Yeah. I would love to do something with Phoebe Bridgers. I think she's just the most amazing songwriter. And yeah, her record Stranger in the Alps is just incredible.